Namaste. I'm Dana Smith, author of Yes, Yoga Has Curves, and I welcome you to today's Curvy Yogini Spotlight. Today we have Guinevere Hilton with us. Hi. Hi. And it's such an honor to interview you today. I've been following you on Facebook for a little while. We've got some great, positive, encouraging things out there, which is so very needed. And I thank you for sharing your story with us today.
Yeah, I'm so psyched to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So tell us, when did your yoga journey begin and what inspired you to start practicing?
Well, I started in 1994, around there, when I went to acting school in New York, and it was part of our movement practice. And then about 3 years later, I met my guru in New York City and began a meditation and chanting practice and kind of left the asana behind for a while and really was pretty focused on just kind of a bhakti practice. And then in about 2000, I started studying privately with a Kripalu teacher, and that really just transformed my practice and my relationship with my body. That was the huge thing. It just completely switched how I felt in my body and how I felt about my body.
Awesome. And it's for the yoginis I've interviewed, I've had them to share that yoga is not just about the asana. And I think for those wanting to start, they think that they have to really get into this rigorous physical practice, where the whole purpose of that in asana means to sit, so you can sit and be still. So that's like the preparation to get the mind quiet, but you don't have to go that route. Bhakti is devotion, so you could take that route through meditation, and there's just so many different options. And I think coming to it that way, it gives you more of appreciation when you do get into the asana.
Yeah, it was really interesting to come at it from that side.
So what inspires you to keep coming back to your mat?
Well, it's been a long journey. I mean, starting the asana practice like 14 years ago, there have been times when I'm so passionate about it and it's easy to get to my mat, and there are other times when I literally just like sit there and don't just I'm on my mat. That's like the first step. Maybe I just sit there for 20 minutes in shavasana. But if I can just take that time, I know that I will feel better after the practice, even if I'm lying in shavasana. And it's that faith that yoga has never let me down, no matter how vigorous or how restorative the practice is. Every single time I do it, it is transformative.
Now, do any of your family and friends practice with you?
Not really. My 11-year-old son I've brought him to my restorative class a couple times, and he's liked it. Like, he's into it a little bit, but I try to get my kids to do it because it's important to me, but I'm really careful because I know that as soon as I'm like pushing it at all, they'll hate yoga forever and they'll do it. So it's pretty much my own thing. My sister actually has been really into it in the past year, and that's been amazing to be able to start having that as a part of our relationship.
Yeah, I have two children, and my daughter's the reason why I'm doing yoga today. And there's a fine line. I might be really, really passionate about it, but I think that when people witness your transformation and your change, they're more likely to say, well, what are you doing again? Well, maybe I'll try it. So if I show the kids that I'm having fun, they'll get on the mat and they like it too. And it's important for me that my family did yoga with me, because there's like a lot of health stuff in there. And who doesn't want their family and their friends to enjoy the same feeling? But I think the more we do it, the more we change and walk in our happiness, they'll pick it up. They'll get it.
Lead by example rather than by like, come on, come to class.
So how would you encourage other curvy yoginis to start practice? Someone that may say, well, yoga's not for me because I don't see me anywhere.
Well, I think that's actually a really great way to even start it, because if you feel already like you're on the outside of something, it takes a lot of courage to step into it. So I think that is a huge growth. If you feel left out and you don't feel like have a yoga body, but you step into the class anyways, you've already begun being a yogi. You've already taken that first step. So I feel like if you can keep that in your heart and in your mind, that it's an act of bravery if you have a difficult relationship with your body to step into that class and then trust that people will receive you well. I mean, I've never gone to a class, even when I've felt completely like I'm going to be different than everyone else. You get there and everyone is kind and accepting, and you all of a sudden you realize that you're the judge and you're the one who's giving yourself the hard time. It's not everybody else, and you can start to shift your perspective, which is a part of yoga.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yoga is a very personal practice, and some people may look and think that okay, I'm going to be in this class, we're going to be really close, and folks are going to be looking at me. But the purpose is that you get within yourself because we're so distracted. And I'm a New Yorker too, so it's just always something going on. But yoga is that practice to help you tune it out and get in, come within self. So, how does yoga help you to love and celebrate your body?
Well, it's been amazing. I mean, I've had a really fraught relationship with my body since I kind of realized I had a body as a female. And I don't think that it was until I started a yoga practice that I felt like I could live in my body and actually have a positive relationship with my body. For me, being able to achieve a really difficult pose, even though that's so ego-y, was a huge milestone for me because I had never been athletic, pretty clumsy, not like a graceful person or a dancer or anything. So to be able to see myself do something beautiful was a huge, I just could let go of some stories that I had about myself. And then from there, I was able to just really start to tailor the practice to my body and start to forget all of the judgments and the stories that just were so dominant in my life and in my mind.
I say that sometimes we have the can't syndrome. I can't do this and I can't do that. But then, when you see this difficult asana, part of yoga is detachment, but it's always good to do something that you never thought that you could. And it's just something for me, and that's happened with plenty of poses. And I learned that when I walked away from really wanting to do it and just said, all right, whatever happens, and kind of worked around them and then come back to it, and it's there. It's like, wow. It's like you prove to yourself that you actually can. Can't is an option. I think can't is an option. So, speaking of asana, what is your favorite asana?
Well, it goes back and forth. I love back bends, and they come naturally to me, and so I feel like woohoo, back bend. So like lately, I've been doing a lot of king pigeon. My dream is to back here. I love forearm stands against a wall. If I do it in the middle of the like I am flat immediately because my brain is so like you're gonna fall, so I always fall. So those are my two favorite right now. But I'm also just kind of exploring restorative. I've been teaching more restorative, which was a little bit like I think my ego wanted me to do a vigorous asana practice because, you need to work out and you need to sweat and get stronger. And then I've been embracing this restorative practice, which I'm like, it's a whole new, I totally love it. So I go back and forth.
So for those that might not know what restorative yoga is, can you explain it a little bit?
Yeah, well, my fiance calls it one step above sleep. And like it kind of is. It's very restful, and most of the poses are on the floor, lots of props. So the body can gently and gradually open. You might have a bolster under your back and under your knees, and you might hold that pose for 6 or 7 minutes, and your body just starts to melt over the props and can open, and you can get the same benefits of a more vigorous practice, but it's really peaceful, restful, and low impact.
So who would restorative yoga be for primarily? I know it's for everyone, but
obviously for everybody. But I have some people do it who are super athletic and need to open more gently because they're very tight. I have some people that have some chronic body issues going on, and this is the only way that they can move. I teach one woman, with a pretty severe situation in a wheelchair, and it's really helpful for her. And then I teach a lot of I teach high school, and it's great with my high school students because they need to just chill. So I think it's a great practice because it's also for all ages. You can start it when you're young and do it until you're 95. You know, it's a great practice.
Awesome. So, for those watching, yoga is for everybody. So don't look at what you see on YouTube, Instagram, all the craziness. Though that's fun, that's not for everyone. And there is an approach that you could do regardless of what's going on in your body. All you have the true yoga body is the thing that you can't see. It's the heart, and that's where we should practice from. And you can just find options that work for you. So asana is important. It's part of a yoga practice, but so is meditation. Can you tell us how your meditation practice is?
It is the most challenging part of my practice. I think I will do an hour and a half of sun salutations before I will willingly sit down for 10 minutes of meditation. So hard for me. Which is why, like, when I started teaching restorative, it was so hard. I was like, seriously, we're going to sit here for 5 minutes? Like, come on, let's move. So the meditation practice that I try to do 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes in the evening. That's my goal. It's really challenging for me. It goes back and forth between using a mantra to just focus on the breath or, sort of a more mindfulness-based meditation. I kind of go all over to whatever's going to work just because it's so hard for me.
And just like with asana and approaches, there's different approaches for meditation too. So I find that having like a lot of different options will keep you motivated because, I know very few people that like to do just one thing all the time as far as, because life happens. Life happens. That quiet meditation may be interrupted by a screaming kid in the back. So just finding a way to just do it. And 10 minutes has always been like a key number for me. If I can get in 10 minutes of asana, 5 to 10 minutes of meditation, my day is right. So you don't have to meditate for long stretches of time, though, it's great in a perfect world, but as long as you get it in.
Yeah, you just need a little bit.
Hmm. So how do you take those things that you've learned about yourself on the mat outside of the studio, off of the mat?
Well, starting the My Real Yoga Body project was hugely therapeutic for me because it was a real I didn't really know how to take what I was doing on my mat into the world. I mean, I knew how to take my practice, and I teach, and I try to embody ahimsa, non-harm, and be kind and compassionate, and do a lot of service if I can. But I really felt like a piece was lacking for me, and a lot of that was because I felt alienated by the yoga world. I felt like I was embodying yoga in my life, but I didn't. I'm a child of Facebook and Instagram and all of those things, and I wasn't seeing things out there. So for me, taking it off my mat and into the world was really starting the My Real Yoga Body project, just as a way to connect with a larger community and start to shift what I was seeing, instead of just complaining about it, which is what I was doing.
So tell us more about your efforts and, definitely give the Facebook page so our viewers can go on and check you out and like the page.
Well, it's My Real Yoga Body on Facebook. And we just started a Kickstarter campaign to fund photo shoot projects so that we can bring professional photographers to studios to do photo shoots so that people can have beautiful photos of themselves in yoga practice. Because, I mean, like it or not, that's kind of the direction that the place that we're in right now. We're a very visual society, and I think that we can all wish that we weren't so focused on our body, but until we start to promote diversity, it's still going to have that charge, and there's going to be the people who feel alienated and left out by yoga. People who are like, I can't do yoga, I'm not flexible, or I'm not a woman, or whatever you think you can't do yoga. So that was just why I started the project, and it's been awesome to see the people. I mean, I didn't really think anybody else. I figured other people thought that this was a problem, maybe. I didn't realize how many people were like, yes, that's totally a problem. So.
Yeah, and Yes Yoga Has Curves was kind of born out of me. It's like frustration. It's like, okay, where's the rest of us? Really, where's the rest of us? And I would take pictures of myself doing yoga, and at first I was just like, kind of nervous because I didn't want anyone to comment that, oh, she's got all that going on and she does yoga, because people can be very hurtful. But I think if we band together and, we promote diversity through our own efforts, I think that someone is going to take notice.
Yeah.
Someone's going to take notice. I was blessed to be a part of the yoga and body image panel at the Yoga Journal conference in California, and it seems like they're open. But I think the more that we can show our beauty, all shapes, sizes, races, genders, I think that we're the ones that are going to start the wave. We're going to start that wave, and people are going to pay attention because more people need to do yoga, and they just need to see someone that kind of resembles them, someone that looks real, real.
And
Awesome, awesome.
yeah, I love the coalition. What I've read about that. I actually tweeted at Yoga Journal yesterday, and I said,
Oh,
if you're looking for models, we've got tons of models here, because
right?
I think it would be great to see just somebody real in a spread or an article in Yoga Journal, not about being curvy or being a man, just kind of in a normal photo shoot situation.
Yeah, and it may take a little while for us to not have like these, lines of separation. We're a world, and that's the ego that wants to label, wants to divide. You there, we here. So hopefully one day we won't have to, distinguish ourselves by curves or not, or black or white. It's just let's just be love. But this is the beginning. It's the beginning. And it's great because people are taking notice. People are taking notice. So, Guinevere, who inspires you? You put a lot out there to inspire other people. Who inspires you?
Well, the people on my page, number one, it's just been amazing to see the variety of people and their incredible practices, and the courage that they have to put themselves out there keeps me wanting to do it. Um, Teachers that inspire me, like asana teachers, Catherine Budig, she was also very supportive in the beginning with my page. Gina Caputo, Ian Finn, these are all teachers that I just adore. Elena Brower, Sean Korn, big teachers, and just I love their practice and their style of teaching. Amma, I don't know if you know Amma, the hugging
Yes, come
guru.
to DC, and one day I'll get my hug.
Yeah, she's I love her. Really inspired by her work and her service and her spirit, and those are my big ones right now. Oh, Gabrielle Bernstein, who I saw at Wanderlust, and I had read her book before, and then I saw her at Wanderlust, and I just love her and her message, and I've started working with her books and the Course in Miracles, which I had never done before, and it's kind of new to me, but that's currently my big obsession.
Awesome, awesome. Now, do you have a yoga studio or do you have a yoga home that you like to practice at?
Yep, I practice. Well, I live in New Hampshire in Wolfboro on a big lake. It's beautiful here. And we have a studio. I teach at two studios and practice at two studios here in town.
Okay, and you can name them just in case someone's looking.
Moondala Studio, which is downtown in Wolfboro, and a studio called Yoga for Life, which is also in Wolfboro. So they're both amazing, have amazing teachers. And we have a really incredible community in this teeny tiny little town in the middle of New Hampshire. So great.
Awesome, awesome. So, one last question. Can you finish the sentence for me? I love my curves because.
I can't answer the question, and I knew this was going to be on here because I watched the other ones.
Uh huh.
And all I could think about was, I love my curves, and all I could think about was like the curves in life rather than the curves of my body. So if I could answer it with that in mind, I would answer it because I never know what to expect. If I'm to answer it, I love the curves of my body. I'm at a loss for how to answer it. I think does that
You know,
ruin
our
the
body
whole?
represents our life. So, this word, it doesn't necessarily have to pertain to the physical. Because again, we want to move from identifying so much with the physical and get beneath the surface, which is the spirit. When I was doing the book, one of the women that submitted, she was a thinner woman. She said, but she felt like being a part of the project, and she said, you know what, my spine is curved. It supports
Mhm.
me. I've got curves. So you define that for yourself. You don't let anyone else define that. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like my life has taken directions in the past few years that I would have never expected in a million years. So when I hear the word curves, I just think about this incredible adventure and the surprises and lessons that I've learned. So that's how I would answer it.
And that's a perfect answer.
Not difficult.
Well, thank you so much for spending this time with us. It has been a great pleasure, and I know that you will be inspiring people for the time to come. So thank you for taking the time, and thank everyone that's watching and keeping the Curvy Yogini Spotlight going. Visit us on Facebook at Yes Yoga Has Curves and online yesyogahascurves.com. Thank you, Guinevere.
You. Bye.
Namaste.
Namaste.